What's good? It's your boy Benny Blades, and look who we got. Mark IORIO. I said it right?
You said it right.
I said it right. We are at Legendary Boxing again. Once again, my dude Jared Tillinghast Gym, best boxing gym in New England. If you haven't been there, you gotta come through, get some personal one-on-ones with my dude JT. All right, let's get into your story, man.
Let's do it.
All right, so I always like to start off with, where did you grow up?
I grew up in the Mount Pleasant neighborhood, Mount Pleasant area of Providence.
Okay.
Mount Pleasant, right behind Mount Pleasant High School. I didn't go to Mount Pleasant High School, but that's where I grew up, right near Triggs Golf Course. Went to school up Federal Hill. So,
Really?
spent a lot of years at Federal Hill. I went to Holy Ghost School.
Wait, so Federal Hill back in the day, when Federal Hill was Federal
Hill was Federal Hill back in the day. It's a little different today. It's still nice. I was there last night, but it was different back then.
What was Federal Hill like back then? If you had to describe it.
If I had to describe it,
Yeah.
very, very, very Italian.
Very
back then.
Italian.
Yes.
Yeah. It was
Very Italian.
run with an iron fist.
Run with an iron fist. Low crime rate.
Low
back
crime.
then. Yeah, not a lot of crime, and
Good.
it was a safe place to go and hang out with my friends. And we used to go to Caserta Pizza all the time after.
So shout out Caserta Pizza.
Shout out to Caserta.
Legendary.
If we had a half day at school, go right to Caserta Pizza, walk the avenue. It was the best of times. The
Nice.
best of times.
Nice. So you just got, I'm jumping ahead real quick, but you just got your black belt in Jeet Kune Do.
Black sash, we call it, but black belt, yes. Just got that 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna get into all that. So now, what made you want to get into fighting? What was like growing up? What was high school like for you?
High school was, I had some good days, I had some bad days. There was some bullying that happened to me in high school. Didn't like it. What are you gonna do about it? Bullying happens every day. You see it everywhere. And at the time, you just take it. What are you gonna do?
All right, so you
I
played
played baseball in high school.
Yeah. What position?
Back then, I was a lot lighter, quicker.
Yeah.
I played shortstop.
Okay.
Today, I would never attempt to play shortstop, but played shortstop for 4 years at Classical High School. I thought every kid thinks he's going to be a major leaguer, so I went to Providence College, graduated Classical High School,
That's awesome.
went to Providence College, tried out for the baseball team, got cut. Then I'm like, it's the end of my baseball career.
That's the.
It was like, what happened? I thought I was going to make this thing.
Now, when did you get into powerlifting?
Got into powerlifting at Providence College. I was like 17, 18 years old. It plays on the bullying. I needed to do something to make myself feel strong, to make myself have some self-esteem, to feel good about myself.
Yeah.
So I said, a couple of friends of mine from the neighborhood were going to the local gym, and I said, yeah, I'll give it a try. And went to the gym, lifted some weights, liked it. Within 2 years, I was doing my first competition.
What was your heaviest bench, would you say?
I wasn't known for my bench pressing. I wasn't a great bench presser.
Squats.
I'll tell you the 3 lifts that my best lifts. I squatted 720.
Only a handful of people in Rhode Island have squatted over 700 pounds, and Mark's one of them. Still alive. 720, new state record here. Look easy, good lift.
And 720 pounds.
Damn!
And if a lot of people say, no, you didn't. Oh, well, it's on YouTube. So, yeah,
Hey,
I kind of
I'll
sort
put
of
a
did.
clip of it right there.
Bench wasn't bad, but on a national level, it wasn't that great. It wasn't my best lift. 440 bench. Not too bad, not terrible.
This guy.
I hung in there with the top guys. Most of the good lifters were doing 550, 600 pounds, but whatever.
Do it, you can do it.
Get that chest up now, come on!
It's a good lift. Rewind lights, 800 pounds. IORIO, 800.
My best lift was the deadlift. I did 800 pounds in 1994. This guy over here gave me the, it did temporarily give me the #1 ranking for like 2 weeks in the country. Then like 5 guys did 805 or 820, you know. But it was, yeah, that was 29 years ago. So that was my heyday. And then, you know, you get older and you try to push it, and then you get an injury.
Now, when did you get into martial arts and fighting?
Well, my powerlifting career spanned 20 years. It went from 1987 to 2007. Traveled the country, did a lot of competitions, even sometimes left the country. I went to Canada a few times to compete. And I was 39. I did my last competition. I made it so that it was in Rhode Island, my last competition. And I could invite my family and friends to come and watch me. And I always used to tell them what I did. I used to travel, so they couldn't come to see me. So I said, my last one, I want it to be here. And that day, I knew that my powerlifting career was over. The weights were heavy. Weights that used to be light, all of a sudden became heavy. I got old. I was battling a couple of injuries. When you have an injury, I tore both MCLs. When you tear a muscle, you're compensating, and the other muscle tears. And then you're chasing. You're chasing that lift that you did 5 years ago. You're always chasing, and you never get there. I did the 800 once. I tried it probably 6 more times and missed it every time. So I did it once, which was good. It's on tape, it's on video, it's on YouTube. Yeah.
So after you got done powerlifting,
Yeah.
what did you do? What did you do after that?
I played in an over 40 baseball league for a few years. Actually, over 10 years. I thought I was going to regain those glory days from high school, but it wasn't meant to be. My timing was off and stuff, but I did my best. I put a good 10, almost 15 years in. And, you know, there's a lot of running in baseball, and I don't like to run. Running's tough at my age. I'm going to be, I don't even know.
27.
I wish. So, where I worked, I was at MetLife at the time. I was working on Atwood Avenue in Johnston. I used to see the martial art movies, and I used to say to myself, wow, I wish I could do that. And then you'd see the weapons training, and I'm like, wow, I wish I could do that. And I knew I never could, but there was this dojo school right next to my office, the Darien Academy of Martial Arts. I have the jacket on. And I also, at the time, I made a really good friend from Chicago. He's a world champion powerlifter, Eddie Cohen. He started training Jeet Kune Do. And I asked him, I remember him telling me, I'm training Jeet Kune Do. I said to him, which Jeet Kune Do? And he said, look it up. So later that day, I Googled it, Jeet Kune Do, and read all about it, researched it. And then I Googled Jeet Kune Do in Rhode Island. Come to find out, there's a school right next to my office. So I met the owner, Rafi Nadarian. We sat down, we talked for about an hour. And the first thing I said to him is, listen, I don't want to be that big guy that gets beat up by all the little guys. And he's like, that's not the kind of school we run here. If that happens, that person is invited to leave the school. So I said, okay, I'm going to give it a shot. So that was in 2015. And I was the big guy, 230, 240 pounds, that did not know how to defend himself. Did not know how to throw a punch. Did not know how to protect himself. And I was saying to myself, gee, that's the important thing in life. If something were to ever happen, you know, the big guy should take charge and know what to do.
Everyone usually goes for the biggest guy first.
And I had no self-defense skills. I didn't know what to do. What do I do? So I said, let me get the ball rolling with this. And I started in 2015, training 2-3 times a week. And you know, you start progressing. There's 10 levels in the Dadarian program. Levels 1 to 9, and level 10 is your black sash. That's what I passed 2 weeks ago. So levels 1 to 9, it's curriculum printed out for you on sheets. I'm pretty good at that because I can memorize stuff in my head. I passed levels 1 to 9. It took me 7.5 years, almost 8 years. Passed levels 1 to 9.
So it took you 7.5 years. What? So let's back up a little bit.
Yeah.
So what was the first Bruce Lee movie you saw?
Enter the Dragon.
Enter the Dragon.
Yeah, which I heard it was remastered, digitally remastered, and it's out right now.
That was the biggest one, right? That
Yeah,
was the last one, or not? That was the last one. He was alive when it came out.
I'm not a historian on Bruce Lee, so by any means, I know. My knowledge is limited.
That was the biggest Hollywood movie that he did, right?
I thought it was pretty big.
Yeah, the Enter the Dragon. That's the one with the what's the
Leroy.
Yeah. So that's the one.
Well, yeah, that catapulted his movie career. It's the one everybody watched, everybody knows about.
Did you?
And I didn't know Bruce Lee was the father of Jeet Kune Do when I first, had developed an interest in Jeet Kune Do. I'm like,
he invented it.
I had no idea. I learned as I went, and getting back to the curriculum, Rafi has seafood Rafi. I have to be properly. He's seafood Rafi Delirium. He's the owner, lead instructor. He has levels. I want to say every 8-9 months, if you're ready for a level jump, you'll be tested. Don't ask for it. You can ask, am I going to be tested? Don't do that. So I plowed through the first 9 levels. The point I'm trying to make is level 10, we have to create our own Jeet Kune Do, our own blocks and counters, our own traps, our own material. So I'm not a creative guy, and I had to create a lot of material that was my own, that I created. Of course, I pulled from the prior levels, but that was tough. And of course, the sparring and essay writing.
How much sparring do you guys do in Jeet Kune Do?
Probably not as much. I thought I needed more sparring. We don't spar a lot, but we really work curriculum. We do open rounds. Sparring twice a month, maybe. Which is good. I think sparring's great. Sparring here, it's all about sparring. Legendary. It's sparring. Which I think sparring is very, very important. Footwork, finding your range, angles, and stuff like that. So,
all right, shout out to all my sponsors. First up, we got Aftermath Alternatives. They have all your vaping needs covered. They have all disposable vapes on the market. They have hundreds of flavors, coils, and tons of CBD products. They're on Facebook and IG. They're at 735 Park Ave in Cranston, Rhode Island. Next up, it's actually in the same location, but this is a sneaker spot. Dirty Laces is one of the biggest sneaker resale shops in Rhode Island, where you can buy, sell, and trade every day. They have over 1,000 pairs from you to choose from, and they're on Facebook and IG. The IG is dirty_laces, and they're also at 735 Park Ave in Cranston, Rhode Island. We got Legendary Boxing at 2051 Smith Street, North Providence. My dude Jared Tillinghast is one of Rhode Island's best trainers. Go do some one-on-one sessions with him. He will have you right to fight. He's on Facebook, IG under Legendary Boxing, Rhode Island, and also TikTok. Follow all his pages and make sure you go see him to train and tell him Benny Blade sent you.
So Jared told me the last few years they've been a little rough for you.
Yeah, the last couple of years, they've been tough. I lost my dog 2 years ago, which anyone that's had a dog that loses a dog, it's the worst experience in the world. It's horrible. It's just, you know it's coming, you see it coming, but when it happens, it's just unbearable. He's very sick, and when he passed away, it's like, it was a blessing, but at the same time, I was left. Picking pieces. With that came a failed relationship, which that wasn't great either. So anytime you have a failed relationship, you couple it with a tragedy at home. I sold my house at the time. Loved that house. I was there 10 years. And just a lot of stuff went bad very quickly. Luckily, I had the Jeet Kune Do to fall back on. I was there. I was training. It was an outlet for me to get my frustrations out. And it was filling a void. But I got to say, someone that really stepped up for me was Bobby Wallison. You know Bobby,
Oh yeah.
Jared's uncle.
Shout out to Bobby.
Shout out to Bobby Wallison. I can't tell you how much Bobby has helped me in my life. He's given me more confidence than anyone I've ever met in my life. He believed in me when no one did. This black sash test alone, he said, "You're gonna crush this. You're gonna crush this." And I'm like, Bobby, I don't know. But everything that I've told him I'm going to do, he backs 100%. You know, he's been the world to me. And if I have a problem, I call Bobby, and he makes me. You feel better after you talk to him about something.
Yeah, I just met him recently. He's a good dude.
I mean, he's like, you know, he's like a father figure. But he doesn't want me to say that because he said I'm not that old. So an older brother, an uncle, but he's done so much for me. And you know, I was in Unmade, his movie, which he gave me a little tiny part in that, which was great. I mean, and Bobby is, I'm sure a lot of people know, fantastic writer. He's written 2 books. One's coming out right now. The first one was Unmade. Shout out Unmade. And Boss Angel is coming out this month. So it's an honor to know him. I love him, and he's done wonders for me, helping me get out of a really dark place. I did a shout out to him on Facebook last week, and he just, when you're down, Bobby's the guy to talk to because he takes you right out of your depression and makes you look at stuff in a different way. You know, he sheds positivity on a really bad situation, and I don't think anything could be worse than losing your dog, your house, and I didn't lose my house, but I sold my house. You know, and you know, your fiance at the time. So it was hard. It was hard, but then, you know, what are you gonna do? You want to stay in bed, but you can't. You got to get up. You got to go to work. You know, it was a tough situation, and I thank God that God put Bobby in my life to help me through that situation. And here I am today, and I'm better for it. I'm better knowing Bobby Wallison. He's the best, and I love him.
Shout out to that. All right, so how hard was this test, man? To black.
The test was hard. It was difficult. It was a 2-day test.
Wait, 2 days. So
2 days.
You lived at the place?
No. It was Saturday, July 29th. It was 12 to 3 hours, and I tested with 2 other guys, so it gave me a little bit of a break because there was 2 guys with me, you know. So
what did you have to do for 3 hours?
Well, we had to do a lot of stuff. First, it was, you know, you got to work curriculum, and not just the level 10 stuff that I told you about that I had to create. You are responsible for levels 1 to 9, and you need to show that curriculum at any time. So that's 8 years of, you know, learning that I had to show. At any time Sifu Rafi asked to see something from level 7, level 4, level 2, you need to know it. You know, you need to know that stuff. So it was curriculum. I had to write 2 essays before the test, 2 weeks before the test. One about Cjo Bruce when he moved to Oakland, the Oakland years. There were the Seattle years with Cjo Bruce. There were the Oakland years, the LA years. I had the Oakland years.
Now, let me ask you something. So, did these guys know Bruce Lee personally back in the day, or did they know guys that trained directly?
Well, my instructor, Sifu Rafi Dadirian, was, how can I say, he trained under Cjo Bruce's top student, Guru Dan Inosanto. So he's licensed, registered by Guru Dan Inosanto, who was Bruce Lee's first student, one of his first students, training partner. So my Sifu trained under him, his teachings, and essentially, I guess, by default, I'm learning the Bruce Lee program via Guru Dan Inosanto, via Sifu Rafi Dadirian. So I'm learning directly from the top. They didn't know him, obviously. Cjo Bruce died in 1973. So No, they never met him. Trained under him because he died at such a young age.
Now let me ask you a question. What do you think, this is what I always like to ask people, what do you think Bruce Lee would have done today in the UFC?
You know,
and why is there not more Jeet Kune Do fighters in there?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an answer to that question. But I personally, I think in his weight division, he was only 135 pounds, 140 pounds. I think he would have just blown through every, all the opponents that he faced.
Yeah.
He had a variety. He had a lot of weapons in his arsenal.
The 1-inch punch.
He wouldn't have used that in the UFC, but he had his feet, his elbows.
Did you see the
knees.
movie where he did like 7 spin kicks in a row?
Yeah.
He's like,
yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it all, and I can't do that.
so even in Enter the Dragon, there's a scene where he kicked a guy, and he kicked him so hard. That the guy that he hit, like the guy that hit a guy behind him, that guy got his arm broke, and that's a true story.
Yeah, it's powerful. Well, he started implementing weightlifting in his training, which took his training to another level. He started squatting, deadlifting, bench pressing, and he got really strong. He was really, really strong. So he had speed, and then you add the strength, and it's a dangerous man. Yeah, it's a dangerous man. But day one, a lot of curriculum, a lot of open rounds, hitting the pads, a lot of pad work, sparring. Day one, day two. I mean, I don't know how I made it to day two because I was just spent day one. But day two, 10 o'clock started earlier. And my two partners training for the black sash. We show up and we're like, I'm so tired. My buddy Pete, my buddy Chris, and our Ukis. I shout out to my Uki, the guy who held the pads for me. Austin, Jason was holding for Pete, and Chris P was holding for Chris Melio. But day two, we show up, and we know we have to replicate day one. Like we're doing it all over again.
Yeah.
More sparring, more curriculum, more open rounds, and then it was question and answer about Joe Bruce's life, the history of Jeet Kune Do, where did it begin, who were his first students. I even got asked the question, what was his favorite food? I went home that night, I looked it up like garlic shrimp and sauteed beef. I didn't know what it was, but it was, and then it ended. And I remember Sifu Rafi saying, I know this is bad, but all bad things end. And then the test ended shortly thereafter, and it was tough. It was a tough test, and the guys I'm testing with, they're in their, one kid's 32, my other buddy's 43, and here I am, knocking on 56, and I'm like, what am I doing here, But we made it, man. We got champagne, we poured it on each other. It was like the World Series. After we passed in the parking lot, it was great. It was just the friends I've made over there. My instructors, Sifu Norm Davis. He's got his own school in Attleboro, Tribe Jeet Kune Do. It's on Facebook, Instagram. Sifu Tony, Hanlock, Sifu Garrett, Berman. These guys, Sifu Todd, Scungio, Sifu Mike Tarasenko. These guys took me. I was just a big blocky guy coming in, and they worked with me. Their patience, I don't know how they had the patience to work with a guy like me. My feet were like, I just said cinder blocks. My arms were heavy, my feet were heavy. I wasn't very light on my feet. I wasn't very graceful, and they just worked with me and instructed and corrected, but not to the point where they criticized. They were just fantastic. And Sifu Rafi has a great crew over there. He's the lead instructor. He's the owner. I can't say enough good things about Sifu Rafi Dadarian. He changed my life. He really changed my life with this discipline.
Now I got two last questions.
Yeah,
for
sure.
you. So the first one is, so what's your advice to like upcoming athletes? What would you say?
My advice would be what I did. Whether you're a weightlifter or you're a basketball player or you're a baseball player, keep practicing, keep going. Don't stop going, because a lot of guys today, they quit. Quitting is like a thing these days.
Yeah.
You do something for a couple of weeks, you don't get the results you want, you quit.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes through your mind. I mean, I'm level 2. I'm 48 years old. I'm in a martial art. Like, what am I doing here? These guys are black sashes. I'm sparring. I'm getting hit. I'm not hitting. You think about it, but don't quit. Keep going. If you have a passion for it at the beginning, keep the passion going. That's my advice.
Nice. Now, one last question. Okay, who's winning in a fight between Jake Paul and Jared Tillinghast?
Oh, man.
Who do you got?
That's a loaded question. But I'm going to answer it honestly.
Yeah. What do you got?
I don't know Jake Paul, so I have no allegiance to him. My money goes on JT. My money goes on JT. I've sparred with JT.
How'd that go?
He hits, not good.
Not good.
He hits hard. He moves fast. He's a pro fighter. I mean, you spar amateurs and then you spar a pro. It's night and day. It's, he's just got great hands, great feet, and
Great eyebrows.
great eyebrows.
Great
You just can't
eyebrows.
catch him. He's just too fast. His hands are too fast. His feet are too fast. I remember I just saw a recent video where Sylvester Stallone is talking about Roberto Duran. Roberto Duran was, I think, in Rocky 2, and he was a sparring partner in the movie, and he's trying to hit him, and he's like, I'm punching one way, and he's already somewhere else. He's angling off, and my punch is hitting here, and that's the same thing with Jared. Jared's just a great fighter. Gotta go with Jared. JT, I put my money on Jared.
Nice.
And, I think he would win and win big.
Me too.
That would be a KO.
Now, tell everyone where they can follow you at. So,
I'm on Facebook, IORIO.
Yeah.
The apostrophe. This messes people up. It's I think it's the apostrophe, capital IORIO.
Yeah.
Or it's DIORIO. And I'm on Instagram, MSD Insurance, insurance broker for Progressive.
nice.
So that's where you can find me.
All right. Make sure you follow him. Follow Jared. The call out too. Make sure you follow that.
Call up.
What do you think of that?
I can't wait. It's just this. Jared puts on a fantastic event. The people he has coming down, Mickey Ward, Paulie Malignaggi.
What was it like meeting? So I met him too. Mickey Ward was awesome. Paulie was awesome.
I was watching the Spence Crawford fight with Mickey Ward.
Yeah.
I'm talking to him. I didn't know who he was,
Okay.
and I'm like, "What? This guy's a nice guy." We're
guy
talking
knows
about
his-
boxing.
this guy knows his stuff.
And Jared's like, "Did you meet Mickey Ward?" I'm like, "Mickey Ward." So I start talking to him about his movie, and I talked to him for like 15 minutes, and just a normal guy. Great
He's
guy.
cool, right?
Yeah, I didn't get to talk to Paulie too much. He had a group.
Paulie's
Yeah.
really cool too.
He had a lot of people around him, but talking to Mickey Ward, I put a post up with a picture of him, and Mickey Ward was awesome.
Yeah. I'm supposed
Awesome.
to interview him. I got to go out to
Yeah.
Lowell to get it, but
He
he's
was-
definitely worth it.
He's one of the greatest fighters I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of fighters, but he was just those gaudy Ward fights.
Yeah.
Crazy. So, yeah. But that was awesome. Call out October 8th. I'm gonna be there. I know you'll be there.
Oh, yeah.
So it's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be a great night.
All right, you heard him. So make sure you check that out. Make sure you come to it. It's going to be West Warwick Civic Center. Okay, it's going to be on pay-per-view. All right, make sure you follow this guy, follow Jared, follow me, follow everything, and share this. It's your boy DJ Benny Blades, my boy Mark Diorio. That's it.
You got it.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Ride it.